Hello everyone, welcome to Game Junk Prototype episode 47, recording on Friday, February 5th. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name's Andrew.
And one of those slow news weeks, as we like to say, we'll be digging into crucial information, which is our, what are they even branding this as? Your PlayStation 2020 wrap-up. We're going to look at who the real gamers are here. Like, who is logging the hours? Who's putting in the time playing these games? Figuring out, what are these games all about? What's the state of gaming, at least on a PlayStation platform? So, how are you guys doing? Are you ready to share this information?
Oh, I'm ready.
Can't wait.
Well, we're also going to talk about some stuff we played, which I think mainly will be the Medium, which Sean and I both played a bit, and I think Huck has played a bit of as well. Mm-hmm. I've got some thoughts. Don't worry. And, I'm going to tease it now. Sean has started Control, the most divisive game in junk history.
Is it divisive? I feel like you're the only one who hates it. I have not heard people.
Well, as far as Game Junk go, it's completely divisive. 2 people played it. One rated it their game of the year. One said it's the most overrated game in quite some time, and one hasn't played it. So you're gonna, I'm sure,
I will settle
right
the
down the
debate.
middle.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, so you're still early. It's still good. I admit it's good for the first 4 or 5 hours. Not a problem. It's where it starts to add a lot of mechanics that I don't think there's enough buttons to fully capture properly. No spoilers. Anyway, we'll get to it, hopefully in future weeks. Let's get right into the main story here. PlayStation emailed out, you got your PlayStation Sony wrap-up for 2020. Who pioneered this idea? Is it mostly Spotify? I remember when I was on Spotify getting my kind of annual wrap-up of what I listened to, top songs.
Spotify does it. I know Letterboxd does one.
Yeah, Letterboxd is pretty cool too.
I can't remember if I saw it before that, but that's a cool idea.
I've switched to Apple Music, but I do really like Spotify. I think both are great. I think there is part of me that wants to buy both, but as OCD as I am, I can't do that. But I do miss the wrap-up in Spotify. It's quite good. So, let's get in. We'll go category by category. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sure.
Okay. So the number one category on your PlayStation 2020 wrap-up is number of games played in 2020. Now, I was actually, the more I think about it, I feel like my number is low. I thought it would be higher, but I'll let you guys go first. Huck probably plays the least amount of PlayStation. Is that fair to say?
Definitely.
So let's start with Huck's numbers.
Yeah, and that's where, when we get into this, it's obviously tricky because we're only seeing one facet of our gaming life here. So, as Frank would say, the most important facet of our gaming life, but still just one facet.
I'll put this out there. I would be more than willing to open up the Nintendo facet, the Xbox facet, and also compare numbers and see how that goes. I have a sneaking suspicion, it'd be pretty close for the other two, but I think I might take the lead in all three. Don't want to say for sure. I know I'm going to destroy on PlayStation.
I see one common factor that is driving Sean and I down. It's the old little munchkins running around that
could be
like 90% of our life.
Actually, your numbers are probably fucking juiced from those kids.
Mine are definitely juiced from the kids. We're going to get into it.
Advantage. That is an advantage for you guys.
My profile is almost not even reflective of me at all. So
I'm doing this solo. When Sean's number one PS5 game is Bug Snacks, that's Kieran's work, not Sean's.
Or is it going to be Minecraft? Or something like that? One of those other... We'll see.
I don't know. I don't want to.
All right,
stay tuned. Okay, my number of games played. So I still only have a base PS4 that sounds like a jet engine taking off. So I use it exclusively as the exclusive game console. So my number is my favorite number 11. 11 games played total. That's it. Now, am I doing the top?
We're on your top
3?
list.
What's that? Do the
a lot of them on your top 5, or?
Yes, all of them.
Okay, so it was low in quantity, high on quality. That's the
right.
PlayStation
Yes.
ecosystem in and
That is exactly.
Sean, you want to go next? Number of games played?
All right. Frank, number of games played in 2020, 54.
Holy shit! This
Holy
guy's a fucking dabbler.
Frank
I
is
thought
on
I
the
was
run
a
for his
dabbler.
money.
I've been named the dabbler at jobs before, like at Creative Bytes Studios, and I'm staggered by that number. Now,
I am
Sean,
too, actually.
he does like to play games for 5 minutes and then shut them off. So, like, there's probably a lot of VR stuff in there. It's
One of the stats we will get to is the amount of hours and percentage of VR play.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we'll find out.
You might crush me in that category. All right, my number, not much higher than Sean's. I was actually sweating when you said the first digit of it. I'm at 56, only two higher than Sean.
Tight race.
Impressive, Sean. Let's see how impressive.
The only one that I will challenge you in.
Let's dig a little deeper into the numbers and see what we have. So the next, your top 3 games with an hourly break, or your top games. I assume it's 3 for everyone. Maybe not. I don't know how they actually determine this. But your top 3 with hours played. Huck.
My number 1, Final Fantasy VII Remake with 54 hours played. My number 2, The Last of Us Part 2 with 49 hours played. And my number 3, Ghosts of Tsushima with 26 hours played. And then my top genre was RPG at 55 hours. So I believe I played Final Fantasy Remake and then some other random RPG for 1 hour. Which I'm not sure what that would be.
Interesting. All right, well, so this is where we get into people are going to question my my parenting abilities here. My number 3 was Ghost of Tsushima with 32 hours. My number 2 was The Last of Us Part 2 with 36 hours. Number 1, none of which were mine. Vacation Simulator, 42 hours.
Holy shit.
Boy. Someone
So
wants
this
to
is-
get away from the pandemic. Is that
So this is a
Alicia?
VR game, so I've let my kids play VR for 42 hours in 2020. So feel free to judge me if you want. But, you know,
Just
to
don't
be
give out
fair,
your kids'
it's-
ages. Yeah.
To be fair, it's they take turns playing that game and they enjoy playing it together, so, you know.
And
not
top
all
genre and hours, Sean?
Top genre was action adventure and 200 hours.
Whoa.
Not bad. All right, my number 3. Now, these numbers are a little juiced. I got to be honest. In the full disclosure, Bachelor Nation style. Well, let's get to the 2 games where they're juiced, but I will concede there is juicing going on here. Number 3, not The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us Remastered, the first Last of Us, which I think I beat 3 times and played a bunch of multiplayer on, trying to platinum it and then abandoned it. 73 hours.
Wow.
Hmm.
Impressive for a
Remember.
number 3 entry.
So wait, so how many times did you play through that game?
3 or 4, I think. I was like, I'm going to play through it once to get ready for Last of Us Part 2. And I just didn't stop playing it. Number 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Oh, yeah.
117 hours.
Wow. That's got to be juiced.
Now,
I mean,
did
I
you
played-
platinum it?
No, but I'm about halfway through on hard.
Yeah, it's the second half of the hard.
So you have to grind for another 60 hours to be able to beat it on hard?
Well, that's just, it's not necessarily that, but I did have to, I was leveling up materia in the battle simulator, and then I don't know how it measures the hours for this, but I didn't save any of it, and I had to redo it all over again.
Oh, no.
So I think that hourly time is saved at the console level and
Yeah, probably.
not on the game level. So
Okay.
some of that is retread grind hours. That number's definitely inflated. In my head, it was more like 87, 90 hours. Still absolutely embarrassing. And number 1, what a year, what a game this was. This was kind of defined my gaming life in 2020. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. 133 hours.
Wow.
Now, I know I was on pause for some of this. Like, it's another inflated number. To what level, I'm not sure. But, I mean, I played through it 2 times, and there was a lot of hours put into this game. And also, as made famous, grinding divine confetti was a huge part of that. So,
right.
Thank you, Divine Confetti. What a game! I cannot say enough good things about Sekiro. Once they make the wall grab and grappling mechanic like top level for the sequel, it is going to be the best game of all time. I cannot wait. It is perfect. Sekiro, well, sorry, it will be perfect. Sekiro, you're almost perfect. Your sequel will be perfect. Learn from Neo 2's mistakes. Talk to me. Call me. Anyway. My top genre is action adventure with a total hours logged of 632.
Wow. Well done.
Not bad.
Well done.
Just in general, 834 million enemies collapsed in fear in Ghost of Tsushima in 2020.
Of all PlayStation users.
Just
Congratulations,
for
everyone.
Ghost of Tsushima there.
Now, do you guys get the same stat there? Is it the same for everyone? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. This is the Prestige Award, I think. This is where you're really letting yourself apart. Total hours in gameplay in 2020. I hit a milestone that I'm very proud of.
So Frank, what was your top game hours? By the way?
133.
Okay. So mine is 171.
Pretty good.
Total hours for every game. Of that 11, I guess that's okay. Averaging like 15 hours a game. Pretty low, I imagine, compared to the rest of you gents.
It's not bad. We know Sean's just an action adventure, 200.
Now-
So, but I guess for Sean, I was underestimating how many video games Kieran plays. It's a big number. I think Sean's going to be 787.
No, not that crazy. Total gameplay hours in 2020, 430.
Not
Well,
bad.
Add yours up, double them, and you're right around where I am.
Now, not to jump ahead, but
Whoa. Can I say my number, bud?
Okay, go ahead.
He's looking at him. He just dismissed my number. I'm sorry I got into quadruple digits here, bud.
Oh, he did.
1,030 hours.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. Well, I just wanted to touch on the I didn't know if you were going to go into it or not, but the local versus online hours.
Okay, I'll get there.
Because mine is 429 local, 1 online.
Very nice.
Huck?
I have 0 online.
Okay, I am now. It's staggering. It's 99% to 1%. There's just a sliver of online, but even that sliver is 14 hours.
Okay.
It's not bad.
What
So
is that all COD or?
No, I play COD on Xbox. That's Last of Us, trying to platinum it, and I don't know what the other things are. Just maybe Fall Guys a bit.
Right, yeah, that's probably what mine was.
Few games.
An hour of Fall Guys.
Rocket League, maybe?
No.
So I just ran a little math there. You're averaging 19.8 hours per week.
That is terrifying. That is all loaded in the summer. That is like, if you took this. Oh, I guess you don't get a monthly breakdown, right? Like I get a daily breakdown, but not. I would say that is May, June, July, August is 75% of those hours, 100%. A lot of percent. I'm throwing out percents like Hubie Brown right now. It's out of control. All right, big number here. This is where Sean is gonna, reclaim some of the glory.
Yeah.
Hours played in VR, Huck City.
Goose egg.
0.
0.
So this was 20% of my total playtime in VR under the visor, 85 hours.
Whew, that's a lot. Uh, I am 8 hours, 1% under the visor.
That's it. That was surprising.
Hmm.
I thought it'd be higher than that.
Congratulations, PlayStation users. You logged 200 million hours of The Last of Us Part 2. Moving on. How many days did you play PlayStation in 2020?
I really hope it's 365 for you, Frank.
It's not. Actually, your number of like saying 19 hours per week is even
almost 20. Almost 20. 19.8.
is even scarier when you think of how many days I actually played a week.
Uh-oh.
So you go first.
Mine is 93.
93. That's the answer to the square root question in parenthood.
Okay. Thanks for that stat.
Mine is 155.
188. So the same amount of days pretty much between Sean and I. The hours,
A lot more hours.
not match up.
You
Top
said
eight-
188, Frank?
188.
So that is, here we go, more math. Almost 5.5 hours a day.
Yeah, that sounds about right. When
That's
I play,
solid.
I play.
Yeah, that's solid.
Wow. Some of those days were like legit 16-hour marathons of Sekiro. I can definitely say that. Top day of the week. This would be a fun one to speculate on. I'm going to say Huck's top day of the week is Tuesday night.
That's funny. Tuesday is the lowest.
Wow.
You know why, though? I think it's because... Now, I mean, mine's all skewed because, like, I play some games, but Tuesday night I have I play poker with my buddies from home.
Oh, okay.
So I never usually play games on that night anyways.
Well, that's part of the game. I need
Bad
to
guess.
know my
Bad
co-host
guess.
better.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, what is it?
It's Sunday nights, I guess. It's evenings on Sunday, to be precise, is what it says. Followed closely by Monday, according to this bar graph.
So Tuesday was the lowest for me too. I think because we usually record Film Junk on Tuesday. But this kind of tells you how much gaming Kieran was doing, particularly in the summer. I think Thursday afternoons is my top gaming time.
Mine
Sure,
is
blame Kieran while you're supposed to be working.
probably a very typical popular gaming time. Well, for people without children. Afternoons on a Saturday.
There you go.
Not working. I'm playing games on a Saturday afternoon. Other people are out living their lives. I am buried in front of my TV. Okay. Wednesdays and Thursdays, no slouch either. They're pretty close. Fridays, I thought would be my number one because I would often stay up until midnight to play a lot of the games came out on Fridays, so I would play the brand new games Friday at midnight and on that Friday. So kind of surprised by how low my Friday number is, but the lowest by far is Sunday.
The Lord's Day.
Football day also.
Football day.
All right. So moving on. Just a fun factoid here, PlayStation users. Top 3 PlayStation Now games in 2020? Marvel Spider-Man, Days Gone, and Horizon Zero Dawn. I was surprised by Days Gone being that high.
Well, but it did come out that year, whereas Horizon Zero Dawn came out in what, 2018?
Was it Days Gone last year? I thought it was 2 years ago.
Oh, maybe it was 2 years ago. But either way, it's
But I mean,
like a fairly new.
they're all older on PlayStation Now anyway, right? There's no.
They were probably new to PlayStation.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
This year, though.
Yeah.
All right, trophies. The real stat.
Uh-oh. I'm in trouble here.
I'm actually.
go.
I wish I did not hit a milestone here that I wish I would have.
Okay, my total is 110. That breaks down to 1 platinum, 8 golds, 12 silver, 89 bronze. So pretty disappointing.
All
I wonder
right,
what that platinum was, though.
Astro's Playroom? Oh no, you don't have a
Final
PlayStation.
Fantasy?
I lose.
You didn't
No, I don't
platinum
have Final Fantasy. Oh, it must be Spider-Man, actually. Must be Spider-Man.
So total trophies for me was 218, which is 170 bronze, 34 silver, 14 gold. No platinums. So I guess my Astro's Playroom was in 2021.
Interesting. My total trophies earned in 2020, 806. Bronze, 487. Silver, 215. Gold, 85. Platinum, 19.
Wow. I love how you have more, like doubling my silver. Your silver is doubling my total amount.
Oh, I love trophies.
You have more games platinum than Huck has played.
Yes, that's correct.
2020.
Well done.
Congratulations, PlayStation users. You hit 161 million home runs in MLB The Show 20.
Wow.
And maybe we'll add some Xbox numbers to that next year.
That's right.
Looks like.
We need to get the deets on that. We're not talking about it because we don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of speculation. Hopefully we figure out why that game. A PlayStation game on Xbox? How dare you?
Oh, that's it.
Well, that's it for you. Sean and I have entered an exclusive club. Congratulations, Dirty Frank. In 2020, you entered the future of gaming with PlayStation 5.
Oh, I see.
Your top PS5 game was Bugsnax with 14 hours played. Your total PS5 gameplay hours were 44, and your total PlayStation 5 trophies were 224.
Yes, my top PS5 game was also Bugsnax with 21 hours. Total PS5 gameplay 54 hours, and PS5 trophies 95.
The guy crushed me on PS5. How dare you?
That's embarrassing. That's
It's
embarrassing.
And I'm not even
Wow.
into the what the hell? PlayStation Plus. Number of monthly PlayStation Plus games downloaded, 9. Total value in digital savings, $5.
What?
Right?
That doesn't sound right.
I don't have a digital savings thing. I have 13 games downloaded.
But that's because I buy every game when it's brand new. So when they're finally on sale on PlayStation Plus, like there's nothing for me to buy. Top game played online, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War. Hours played online, 6.
Top game played online, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Hours played, 1.
With me.
Yep.
I was part of that hour. Anyway, that was actually more fun than I thought it would be. I know it's just listing off bullshit numbers, but I was loving it.
It was a good call. I thought it was going to last 5 minutes, but we managed to juice it. So
You got to juice that shit. All right, moving on. Let's get into what we played. Who would like to go first?
Well, why don't we all touch on the medium?
Let's do it.
sure.
Go ahead, Huck.
Okay, well, I played it. I didn't play it this week. I played it last week, but was holding off, but didn't get back to it, unfortunately. And I only played the first area, kind of before it starts to get spooky. She just went into the morgue and did all the stuff in the morgue, and then was about to leave, and it started getting all spooky, and I quit because I was too scared. No.
I'm much further, to be honest.
You're much further or not?
I'm not much further.
Oh, okay. So overall, I don't know what to expect, actually. I didn't really know anything about this game except for the kind of split screen aspect, which I have not seen yet. And the overall gameplay is much more sort of like David Cagey investigated an area than I thought it was going to be, which I actually enjoy that type of game. So I actually was enjoying it. Now, I did find finding that like thing you have to find in the first area annoying to find. The tie clip. Yeah. I don't know why. I think it was because there's like where it is, the default camera when you kind of zoom in is up above, and they don't really tell you that you will be able to scroll around as much, and then you have to scroll down and find it. Anyways, so that was kind of
I knew that. It's interesting. I prototyped a system for a game that had a very similar inspection system that was never released. So I kind of got that right away, and I was like, oh, I've worked on something like this before. I like it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just I didn't realize you would be able to move the camera quite so far. Originally, I thought it was just like a slight motion, but this was more like panning through the scene kind of thing. But overall, I was enjoying what I saw. I was running it on my PC. Game looked nice. The environments looked nice. I didn't really have a problem. Now, the animation looked quite stiff to me of the character from what I was seeing. But, I mean, that's whatever. That's not that big of a
Huck
deal.
is developing that eye for animation. He is...
I agree with him, though. I was thinking that too, but I didn't know if if part of that was because I was playing on my PC, which is not the best. So, I had to turn down a bunch of things on it.
I think that would affect animations, bud? Come on.
Well, it was not that, but just the frame rate was a little choppy at points, and I don't know, it made everything feel kind of sluggish. But so this is from, is it Bluebird Team? Is that the name of the company? Who
I think so, yeah.
did
Bluebird!
And yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. It's obviously, so you can't play it on Xbox One. You have to either have PC or Xbox Series X or Series S, which, feels like a bit of a calculated move, but whatever. But I was enjoying it. I guess I feel like, it's interesting. We were talking about maybe doing some stuff in the future for Game Junk where we would play like the first little bit of a game
He's letting the
and comment on it.
Well, it's just edit that out.
You can edit it out if you want, but it's just interesting playing. I played up to basically the title screen of the game, and I don't know if that's representative of what the game is. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, because I read something in reviews that there's like a lot of hiding sequences or something like that, and there was none of that in the prologue. So it's hard to tell, but I agree I was certainly thinking like Heavy Rain and games like that, which I do like if the story is great, and I don't know yet. I'm not 100% sold on it. And there's definitely some wonky camera stuff because it's all fixed cameras and everything, but that's kind of...
Well, I mean, let's talk influences here. Resident Evil is the number one influence, and it's not even close, I would say. The inspection system is Resident Evil. The item combination stuff,
yeah, that's true.
Semi-tank controls, they're bordering on tank controls with the fixed camera perspective. It feels, to me, it's Resident Evil meets Eternal Darkness in a lot of ways.
Well, and Silent Hill, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I've definitely heard.
I've heard a lot of Silent
around.
Hill.
Yeah, that's probably true. I've never played a Silent Hill game, so that makes sense. I am playing on Series X. I live in the present, not the past. And I gotta say, it looks amazing. The environments, I got into the forest, and it looks awesome. So kudos to the development team and the artist, because it looks really good. I think it is a tough game to judge at this point because I assume it's going to live and die on its story. And I don't have enough of the story yet. I like the general inspection system. It's introducing mechanics very slowly, I would say. Initially, there is a intuition mechanic where you reveal things for searching, which is never that successful to me because I always just spam it all the time, and there's no real risk reward or debate as to whether or not I should use it. I just use it all the time, and if you don't use it all the time, you're gonna miss something. And I don't know a game that does that well. Batman's the same complaint, right? I just go in detective mode all the time and look for stuff. I would love for a game to do that really, really well. And I actually think a VR game might be good for that. If you simulated a viewport, I think of the visors in Metroid. If you actually had to twist something on your thing to switch modes, I think that would be the best version of that in some way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is Metroid is the only one I can think of that kind of does it where it is a mechanic that's kind of fun because you have to actually scan certain pieces instead of just seeing through walls and seeing everything
But
at
it's still
once.
clumsy in Metroid, right? Like, and it was
Yeah.
especially clumsy on the Wii. I remember,
Oh yeah.
like, I remember being really bad from what I played on Metroid Prime 3. Uh,
I do, just to jump in on that point, I find that games like what games am I thinking? Like even like Ghost of Tsushima or more like Gone Home, where when you walk close to something or even when you walk into a room, there's like a little dot on anything you can interact with. So you kind of know everything that's there. It's just up to you to go and kind of cycle through it. Now that kind of takes away the mystery of like figuring out the problem. But really, if you're just going to spam that like investigation mode anyways, what's the point in even hiding it from the player? If you're basically giving that to the player with unlimited usage, why even add that extra layer of complexity in between?
the most interesting recent take I had on this was Resident Evil 7 because, like, and you can't do it for main quest items, but for optional stuff, they had like this kind you would it was a drug you would shoot yourself up with. I can't remember what it was called, and it would reveal like very well hidden things. And in the first person perspective, it was like, oh, do I want to recombine my resources to make ammo, or do I want to be able to find uh, extra stuff in the levels? And so you would just basically recombine items to determine how you want to use that stuff. And they had really well hidden stuff in Resident Evil in first person, and I think that's a great mechanic, and it like encourages choice from the player on whether, because I would miss stuff. Like normally, if I comb an area, I'll generally find everything. In Resident Evil, I would shoot myself up with this shit, and I would find 20 things. I'm like, holy shit, I suck at finding stuff in this game. This game is awesome. Um,
But that's a prime example of like a risk reward system where
exactly. Yeah.
it's not an unlimited supply of something, it's a limited supply, so you do have to make decisions as a
And
player.
and obviously the concession is they can only do that with optional stuff, right? It's like for extra healing items or whatever it is. So if it's a main item, you if you run out of your ability to look for stuff, you're fucked if you can't find something, right? So I believe me, I understand all the design decisions. I'm just really looking forward to a game. I think that there's some potential to make a system like that great, and have a risk reward system there. And I just haven't. There probably is one. I just can't remember it, or I haven't played it. So overall, I'm liking it, not loving it. I did find the controls a little cumbersome, like because of the fixed camera angles, knowing what direction I'm going. I was absolutely ecstatic to have a run button unlocked in the second part of the game, or the second chapter, whatever. I was like, yes, thank you, I can run now. uh, I was like, if I can't run in this game, I might be done. Like, I'm moving so slow. And that's another great thing about Resident Evil 7. Like, in VR, I know I've told this before, but just getting from your car to the house in VR, it took me an hour. I think I was so scared and looking for stuff. Like that is like you in VR, you want to move slow. Like you actually feel the suspense. Where and not in VR, I just plow through everything. And if fuck, Resident Evil 7 is amazing. Man, if that last act was good, you got to play Resident Evil 7, Sean. Skip 2, skip 3. You know what you're getting into.
I will
And
play
you're the
7
VR guy.
before the.
You should play Resident Evil 7 in VR. That should be
I
your life.
started playing it in VR and I just didn't finish it, but I'm going to try to finish it before the new one comes out. That'll be my priority over 2 and 3, even though I do want to play them.
Your life is Resident Evil 7 in VR from this date forward. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about the medium thus far.
I was going to ask, like, on that note, with regards to the horror stuff, it sounds like you're a little farther than Huck and I. Like, did it get, like, for somebody who maybe is sensitive to scares and stuff, did it get intense?
Not yet.
Or not really?
Not
No.
yet for me. But
Okay.
I did see the split screen mechanic a bit, and I thought it was interesting how they handled it, because my first instinct was I thought it was literally going to be, exactly the same. Like two worlds you're seeing from the exact same perspective. But I'm guessing that got boring, seeing that the same way. So they do adjust camera perspective in the two scenes, and I think they try to make that more interesting. I'm still not sure if I like that better than, or even letting me kind of, those images you can scrub back and forth. Like I have a feeling that mechanic might be in the game. I feel like I've seen that before, but I hope that's a thing, like where you literally can pan and, highlight areas to go into that mode, but we'll see, I suppose.
Okay.
I'm don't know if I'll play this that much more. Like I wanted to try it. I think I'm going to go back to Neo 2, and I guess I'll say I played Cyber Shadow more,
Yeah, so did I.
and I was really getting into it when I went back to it a second time.
Me too.
I was stuck on that area. Sean had just gotten past me, it sounds like, when you unlock buying stuff. And then I was like making consistent progress for about 2 hours last night, and I was really enjoying it. It was getting better the more I played it. Now, there's a wall jump that I just kind of unlocked, and I'm not loving that, but overall, that game is improving the more I play it.
I did not get to the wall jump yet. I just got the what's the second thing you unlock? You get the shuriken throw, and then you get something else that you
There's a
unlock.
rising fire and a
Oh yeah, that.
compound thing.
So I just unlocked that upper punch basically, and I must say, like, so far, the enemies, like the skill progression is pretty consistently going up. I don't really feel like I'm out of my element in any way. It feels like with the shuriken thing, it adds just the right amount of like puzzle elements to the combat and to like fights that make it interesting. I do like how it's a limited resource and you have to collect those sort of like refill power balls or whatever they are, so that you can't just like spam that mechanic. But I haven't gotten to anywhere where I need to use that rising fire punch yet. But
That one's pretty limited out of all the
yeah,
stuff I've unlocked so far. Yeah.
yeah.
I've
So
unlocked two more things. So
okay, so I've been enjoying it. I definitely want to go back. I don't know how long the game is supposed to be, but I feel like it's well paced so far. And the only thing I'm noticing is that some of the enemies are getting a little stale. There seem to be like using a lot of those kind of like flying things with the eggs quite a bit, and those turrets seem to be still around. But overall, they're adding like little things that keep the gameplay, interesting and new that I'm enjoying. So I'm gonna go back. I've been liking it. I don't find anything wrong with the aesthetic, that like NES style, and I like the gameplay. So I'm gonna keep going.
excellent. I will say I love the bosses. They remind me a lot of the Messenger, not surprisingly. Like very like perfect difficulty level. It doesn't take me 100 tries, and like if I can get it in 2 or 3 tries if I really recognize the patterns quickly. Great bosses. Perfect sweet spot for difficulty for me.
I almost found them like I was able to figure them out quickly, like you were saying, 2 or 3 times, and then they almost became too easy at
Which
that
I
point.
like.
Yeah,
That's a good boss to me. Like where if it's basically Zelda and Mario, right? Like I could play a Zelda and Mario boss for the first time, and Metroid. That's basically Nintendo has a very interesting approach to boss design where you have enough health, and there's usually health in the area that you can figure out how to beat the boss and fail within the first play try. Typically, it's very rare that you need like multiple playthroughs of a Nintendo boss. Like you learn and achieve at the same time.
true.
The only
Yeah.
exceptions, there's been a few exceptions to that for me. I find that is not the case with Breath of the Wild bosses. Another reason why I'm not crazy about that game. Like it's so dependent on your armor sets and your weapons and all that stuff. Like they're weak, man. Those bosses are weak. I'm sorry. And the one boss, some of the 2 bosses from Zelda, which I remember loathing. Anything, the one in Ocarina of Time where you have to reflect the thing back, And another reflecting boss that pretty much made me give up on this game was in Skyward Sword. There was a boss, like a humanoid character with a sword, and you had to like match the direction perfectly to reflect their attacks and do all this stuff. I don't remember. I'm like, this is brutal. The motion plus sucks. I'm out. And I think those are the main Nintendo bosses. Other than that, every Nintendo boss has been amazing. Mario Odyssey's bosses are the fucking greatest. I love Mario bosses.
Some kind words from Nintendo.
Prime bosses are fucking awesome too, at least in the first one. Look, Nintendo, I don't love everything they do as a platform, but up until probably the Switch, their boss design is unparalleled. Amazing.
Pretty solid.
Phenomenal. Doesn't get any better.
That's why designers all love Nintendo.
Yeah, and just copy them. You got the blueprint. Why do you do your own stupid stuff? Just make a Nintendo boss. 3 phases.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fucking rocket science.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can talk. So, okay, I'll briefly talk Immortals Fenyx Rising. I mean, you just said you're probably going to buy it, Frank, so I'm curious to see what you think. But I went back to it, been playing it a fair bit, but it kind of hit a point now where I feel like there's a bit of a grind to it. I can't put my finger on what it is. It's weird because it's almost the opposite of Cyberpunk in that there's not really much of a story, but the world itself is just everywhere you go, there's something to do, and it kind of pulls you in that way. But now that I'm actually trying to go through the quests, I find that they're very a lot of the enemies are they just feel like damage sponges, and I guess that means I got to keep upgrading more stuff. But I don't know, because of that it kind of faded a little for me now, but I'm probably still going to finish it. And I got to say they have these things called vaults, which is basically like shrines in Breath of the Wild, where you kind of jump in. There's like openings in the earth and you jump in, and then there's puzzles you have to solve in there, and enemies as well. But I found some of the puzzle design was actually pretty impressive, particularly with the quest-oriented vaults. I was pretty impressed. So solid game, but just maybe feeling a little bit of the Ubisoft open world thing now with it. And then so I started playing Control, which Frank already alluded to. It's on PlayStation Plus right now. The Ultimate Edition for PS5 is free if you have PlayStation Plus. And I am liking it. I'm only maybe an hour and a half in, something like that. I was a little surprised at first how how quickly it just becomes a shooter. Like, I thought it was more of like a medium type game. Like, I knew that there were other powers you get and stuff, but I don't know, for whatever reason I thought there was more exploration and investigation and that kind of stuff. But it really, I mean, at least to start, it pretty quickly becomes an action shooter game, which kind of it seemed weird to me, like some of the upgrades and mods that you start picking up. Like, it just felt very gamey for something that's trying to be so story driven. Do you know what I mean?
A little bit. I mean, this is another reason why I think the game is so overrated. The mod system is completely useless. It is just superfluous stuff that feels like a microtransaction push that got canceled when microtransactions were being destroyed across the board and everyone was pulling them out of their games. And probably because why would I pay for these mods? Like, they barely change anything. It just, like, it feels like such a superfluous system. And the weapons, like, I kind of like the different weapons, but I felt I really mainly used one or two of the, what is it, configurations? Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
There's a name for it. I don't remember it. I might be confusing it with Cutlass configurations in After Earth. I'm not sure. But I loved the game for the first 5 hours. I thought it was great. I like, why can't I think of the name of the studio? Remedy. Like, I liked Quantum Break for the most part, and it has very similar mechanics to that game. I just, as you keep going, Sean, the map gets more and more confusing. And I know people will say, that's the point. It's an office building. It's bureaucracy. That's the whole point of the game, man. You're supposed to get lost. Yeah, I get that. But I need to fucking know where I need to to go to find something. Like, it's...
I mean, I've certainly already been a little confused by the map, so I can see what you're talking about. But I like the atmosphere and just kind of some of the visuals, and
it's a game that's getting by, and it's getting Game of the Year because of one sequence which comes very late in the game, which is very interesting and looks really good and is a cool idea. But you know what? When I try I can't even say what I want to do because it's spoiler for Sean. When they start putting 3 mechanics on one button, that's when I start to snap. And when your final boss is just like 3 waves of enemies, that's when I snap. And when I fall off ledges because I can't see a floor because my camera's facing up to look at a boss and the floor is falling out from under me, that's when I snap. Get your shit together, Control. Get it under control, Control.
Sounds like a great game to me.
I can't wait to find out what Frank's talking about.
And some of the worst stuff for me in that game is optional stuff. Like, it's optional side quests and bosses that I thought were very confusing and were probably made optional for a reason. Anyway, still don't hate the game. Just don't get it as a Game of the Year. Ever. Sorry, Huck. I'm not picking on you. I'm picking on Tim Rogers, too. I'm picking on everyone IGN, who gave this Game of the Year. It is insane to me.
Well, I would say that it was a weak year as well.
And I totally agree. It might be the weakest year in gaming history.
Yeah.
We look back on it. Red pen out. All right. That's it for me. I haven't played anything else.
I had something else you had to mention, Frank.
I did?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Huck.
Oh, I don't care.
You said something before we started. I can't remember what it was now. You finished something, didn't you?
Yeah, Indivisible you were talking
about.
Oh,
fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sean. Speaking of rants, Frankie's about to go. You guys go first. I got to load this.
Okay, I beat a game. I beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyperstone Heist on Sega Genesis this past week. My youngest kid is big into the Ninja Turtles right now, so I was like, you know what? I know a game you'll like. So I fired that baby up, and we crushed it. Dominated it on easy. So enjoyable. And is Frank getting it? There it is. You got it right there, Frank?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Look at that cover.
No manual. Ew.
Oh, yes. Glorious game.
But so I remember this was around the time, like, Genesis. I was Team Genesis. I was suppressing my jealousy for the Super Nintendo. And I wouldn't say I was in full Turtlehead mode, but I was pretty close. And Turtles in Time, the fact that was on Super Nintendo and not Genesis was absolutely devastating. And I have to say, I remember when they announced this game is coming to Genesis, I lost my mind. I don't think I've ever been more... They announced... the 6-button controller for Genesis and Street Fighter 2 Turbo Championship Edition? Or was it just Championship Edition? I think Championship Edition. The first time Street Fighter was coming to Genesis. And the Tiny Toons game around the same time, which had similar box art. And I loved Tiny Toons. I would draw Tiny Toons characters all day. And that was a great time. So yeah, I should revisit Hyperstone Heist. It's great. It's still not as good as Turtles in Time. Like why would I play this when I can throw foot soldiers at the fucking screen? Get out of here.
So we did play that one as well, and it definitely has more polish to it. But the only problem is the characters that are in the game are a lot less well known, I would say. Like they got that doctor that turns into a fly, which I don't even know
Baxter
the name
Stockman? You don't
know that guy?
Baxter Stockman?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They got some other guys I didn't understand. Whereas the Hyperstone Heist has all the the staples.
Look, you got to give Hyperstone Heist, if I remember correctly, it has OLED ahead,
It
where
does.
Super Nintendo has Rat King. Leatherhead beats Rat King any day of the fucking week. Like, Leatherhead was the coolest.
It did
I've
have
never
the...
played Hyperstone Heist.
Oh, you're missing out. For sure missing out.
Oh,
Sounds
Uh,
like it.
and then
Gumbo, yeah.
the last thing I tried out is I started Cyberpunk, finally. I picked the corporate minion route. And
Me too. I was corpo all the way.
oh yeah,
You
damn,
went corporate?
I was hoping we went something
I
different.
can't believe I was Nomad all the way.
Well, I
But
did
so
know
where
that,
does
but-
where does the
Jane?
Nomad?
You told me- Don't spoil that for
Well,
me.
not. It's just one of the paths.
Where do
Go
where
ahead.
do the paths meet up? Is it at the car, like in that apartment building? Like how long does the intro last for each one?
I don't think it's very long. I think it's like once you get to the bar and talk to Jackie.
The- Yeah, whatever his name is.
I think after that, it's like there's some dialogue options throughout the game where you can choose certain things depending on what you started as.
Mhm.
But I think after that, the game is the same. I could be wrong because I only played one way, but
And you get dialogue options depending on.
yeah, right.
Okay. Yes, it seemed like where I am now, which is like just after that, like I just did the training, the VR training, which is after that bar you're talking about, Sean, and then I got into the apartment building. That all seemed like that's where the game starts, and I didn't find the intro very long at all. I was expecting that intro to be much longer, considering they took the time to create three different sort of like origin stories, but it was quite short. Uh, but overall, I thought the game was fine. No crashes, no bugs yet. Though I'm very early. I've only played for probably an hour and a half, not even. And I like the world they're building, though I do find that like so after you do that sort of like intro, they have this like montage of like parts from the game, I'm assuming, that are going to come up, which I found really weird, and I just skipped it because I'm like, I don't really want to see all this, and it went on for a long time. And then they seem to be doing a lot of that kind of stuff where they're trying to add all this extra like almost like cinematic flair to the game that I don't think it needs. But that's my only really complaint so far. I did the VR part, so I got kind of a taste of the combat and the stealth aspects of the game and the hacking, and that all seemed pretty cool. They seem to put like basically an equal emphasis on the gunplay and the hand-to-hand combat stuff, but almost all videos I've seen is all gunplay. So is like the melee combat useless in this game?
I love the
what-
katanas. I use the katanas all the time.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I mostly used guns, but there were a couple of boss fights where I kind of had to switch over. And actually, that's one thing I did like about the game. Like, even though you kind of pick your play style and you kind of start leveling those things up because you're using them more, I still found there was a lot of missions where I could pick and choose how I wanted to approach it, and it still would work, even if I had a lower attribute for that. So,
Now, we can all agree on something. I mean, Huck's not there yet, but look, I love Neo. I love Neo too, and I will, in a heartbeat, say the inventory management is absolutely annoying as fuck. And I wish I didn't have to buy and sell stuff ad nauseum when I'm playing these games. Can we all agree? Enough with picking up the fucking items. Like, it's brutal. Like, just make it interesting when you get something new, not something that you're like just picking a different thing every 10 seconds. Like, it's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty overwhelming at the start. Once you get that auto salvage skill, then you don't have to sell the junk. You can just disassemble it and get money out
I
of
get
it.
more weapons than anything. When you fight people, you always pick up their weapons. And
That's still a problem throughout the game. And then, even if there's a couple skills or at least one where you can carry more stuff, but I was constantly by the end having to drop stuff, and you always want to pick stuff up because you're like, this might be better than what I have, but then you got to drop something else and it gets real annoying.
That's it for me. I'll hopefully report back on the medium and more Cyberpunk next week, but we'll see. Frank,
Nice.
let's go. Indivisible, let's hear it.
Oh yeah. So I apologize that I recommended this game to so many people, and it's not like a terrible apology. I hope you didn't make it to the end. Like, I still think the first. You got a hard copy?
Library, baby. I went and got it. I was like, I still want to play this game even after it leaves Game Pass, so I got it in the
Nice.
library.
So I still really like the game. Like, I find the game really interesting. I don't know if I find it to be great. As I mentioned, lots of cool mechanics, but the final boss and final area are infuriating. Like, they are so frustrating, and the final boss, you have to use a mechanic perfectly that you have not used the entire game. And or you can get by without even using it at all in the game. So it has not taught you how to do this properly. And I watched a Let's Play. I'm like, am I an idiot? Like, I know I'm missing something with this boss. So I eventually find out I like the basic conceit of the boss that you have to be completely defensive. So you've learned how to do combat the entire game. Now you're not allowed to use combat. You have to block perfectly. And at no point in the game before do you need to block perfectly to be successful in the game. Like, the fact that they flip that without preparing you for it at all is absolutely unforgivable. As a designer, I would be embarrassed. And I'm not alone. I was like, I'm gonna look up. I'm missing something. I went to watch a Let's Play, one of the only Let's Plays where they get to that, and a couple areas towards the end, I'm like, I cannot do this. For whatever reason, and I watched them, and I watched them die like time after time after. Okay, it's not me. Like, everyone who plays this game and plays it this much still has these problems. They get to the final boss, and they're basically feeling my frustration. Like, what do? I can't beat this. Like, and they literally, it was a 46 part Let's Play. I think each one was like at least a half an hour or an hour. So they had put that much time into this. They were on the final boss. They got so frustrated. They said, fuck this, fade, cut to black, Let's Play over. Like, they just said,
wow.
So
That's huge.
I did persevere. I beat it. I'm not gonna wimp out, you know. Like, I'm a professional game maker. You think I can't beat this boss you came up with? Get real.
You can't break me.
Can't. I'm gonna tell you it's a piece of shit, but you're not gonna beat me. And yeah, so was just way too long. The game is way too long. Way too much stuff going on. Had a lot of potential, and yeah, it's off Game Pass. So unless you got it from the library, don't worry about it. Delete it. That's it. We're done. You have anything else,
We're
Sean?
done here.
Good.
You're good?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Sean had another game. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's it for this week's show. Check us out on youtube.com/GameJunk. Film Junk on Twitter. Equilibrium Sis and My Angry Commute on Twitter as well for Huck. Facebook.com/GameJunk Podcast and Game Junk on Twitter, pardon me. I will put
them all wrong, but
what is Game Junk Podcast on Twitter?
Yeah.
Game Junk Podcast on Twitter, Game Junk on Facebook.
Well, anyway, Facebook finally resolved my problem, so I'll give them a plug again. I'm not returning my quest. It took them way too long, but they did come through without me having to reply again. So
did you order that new gaming PC yet then?
no, that's definitely on the back burner. I got like the idea out of my system a bit, just through some other stuff like dual booting this thing, and is there any better feeling than reformatting or putting a new hard drive in? Like, it's the greatest.
This guy is a psycho.
I think we went over
He
this.
likes this
Yeah, I
stuff.
think we went over this last week, and we
No, that was
Sean and
I
I both said it's the worst.
I think that was off show.
Oh.
No, I just want to say on the record, on the show, There is nothing on earth that I like more than reformatting a computer. It is the greatest feeling, starting from scratch, so clean,
You're a
it
freak.
just appeals to everything in me. I love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hopefully we get some exciting news this upcoming week. Let's kick it up here.
You can email us, gamechunkpodcast@gmail.com, if you have questions you want us to answer.
Hey, we might need them if it's another week like that. If we don't get a PlayStation wrap-up or equivalent for next week, or an Xbox wrap-up, we got nothing. We got nothing. All right. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.